What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again, and we have our second round of predictions. In between last video and this one, I've since gone camping, and I've thought never again. And, yeah, let's get right into this. So, today I did Pacific Divisions last time, so why not switch oceans, and we'll head to the Atlantic Division out east. So, we have 8 teams to rank. Let's get right into it. And I won't lie, this might be the most controversial of all the divisions I probably do. I'm probably going to say that right now. So, at number 8, probably expecting me to put the Montreal Canadiens. You thought wrong. The Buffalo Sabres didn't really get better. I mean, they locked up Tage Thompson long term. Alex Tuch is going to get a full year here. And the kids are going to grow up. Dylan Cousins is set to have a good year. Casey Middlestat. Maybe Jack Quinn can fight his way into the lineup. Dahlin's still there. They bring in Eric Comrie. And when they have Craig Anderson, Malcolm Subban, do they still have Aaron Dell maybe even? I don't know. But they have a lot of backup goaltenders on their team. And Comrie had a good year in Winnipeg. So Comrie's probably going to be the starter, I would think. But, yeah. Buffalo didn't really get better. And that's kind of my issue with it. They just didn't really get better. And I thought everyone else in the division did. So at number 7... now we have the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal, after bottoming out and becoming 32nd in the league last year after going to the final in 2021, they pick up Kirby Dach, who's not signed to a contract as of yet. They still have guys like Mike Hoffman, and they still have guys like Mike Hoffman, Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield. Martin St. Louis is going to be the coach for an entire year, and it was pretty good when he was behind the bench compared to Dominic Ducharme last year. Carey Price is probably not going to play, so it's going to be up to Jake Allen and Sam Montembeault, maybe even Caden Primo, depending on who's up. I prefer Primo get another year down in the AHL. He looks pretty good down in Laval. But they also now have Juraj Slafkovsky in the first overall pick. We'll see what a difference he can make in this Montreal Canadiens team, and yeah, so I think they're building towards something. But yeah, I think that's really there's really all I have to say on Montreal. I think they'll finish higher than Buffalo, not by much, but those are the 2 teams I can consider out. However, Buffalo's jerseys this year, if I'm hearing correct, and they're getting that black Sabre jersey as a third, might be my favorite jersey in the history of the league. And then that the black one, the Arizona Coyotes. Then they're my Phoenix jersey. If you've seen previous videos where I've worn it, that would be my second. And at number 6, this is where it gets tricky because I have one of 2 teams which I'm trying to decide whether or not. And while since it's predictions, I'm gonna have to go with my gut. And now I'm questioning my gut, but yeah. I'm going to go against my gut. I originally had the Boston Bruins finishing 5th, but just because of how much the injuries are going to cost them. They're missing Marchand for a good portion of the year. They're missing Grzelcyk for a good portion. They're missing McAvoy for a good portion. That's a big chunk of their core right there gone. And it's going to be up to Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman to have repeat years of last year, especially Swayman. Taylor Hall is going to have to step up. They bring back Bergeron for a year, but of course he's getting older. He's not going to be the same player, or he could be. He doesn't seem to get older. Bring back David Krejci for a year. Again, he hasn't been in the North American game for a while. How is he going to acclimate back to it? They still have David Pastrnak, who from reports have said he's not happy with the extension talks so far, so maybe he's still less motivated to play, but who knows how this works out. So, Boston, mostly because of injury. Otherwise, I probably would have had them at 5th because I think a team has surpassed them in the standings. But Boston at 6, it's been a while since they've been out of the playoffs. I mean, I know they were out of it in 16 and 17, 15 and 16, but it didn't feel like it. It always felt like they were always like 1 point off or 2. Now, number 5, we have the Detroit Red Wings. Brought in a lot of pieces. You have Lucas Raymond, another here, which will make him better. They brought in Dominic Kubalik, who, after not a great year in Chicago, looks to bounce back. They have Alex Nedeljkovic and Ville Husso as their tandem in net. Pretty good tandem. If Nedeljkovic can be what he was in Carolina and not like he was the year before with multiple 10-goal games against in a season, that's rough, especially when Pittsburgh beat you 11-2 when I was on vacation. And then the Toronto game where they lost 10-7 after being down 6-2 and they fought back to tie it or something like that. It was insane. But so yeah, Detroit, they're slowly building up. Yzerman's wanting results, starting to come crawling in the door. Another year, Moritz Seider, who won the Calder last year. So I can see a Norris in his very near future, or multiple Norrises. So Detroit getting better as some of the older teams in the Atlantic. This is going to be a division that I think we'll see a rapid turnaround soon. And while Florida just kind of had their rise, and Tampa's been up there for a while, Boston's been up there for a while, Toronto's been up there for a while. And while I think Toronto and Florida are going to be able to sustain for a little while longer, Boston and Tampa are getting up there in age, and I already have Boston out of the playoffs. So at number 4, we have the new dog on the block, the Ottawa Senators. The winners of the offseason, and it's not even close. Ottawa had a fantastic offseason, bringing in Alex DeBrincat for one, in a lopsided trade, which you can check out on my channel and feel my reaction about it. Same with the Kirby Dach trade to Montreal, but that was much more reasonable. But so yeah, Ottawa bringing Alex DeBrincat, they seem to be in on everyone. They have having him along with Josh Norris, who scored 30 goals, DeBrincat with 40. You have Brady Tkachuk. You have Alex Formenton. You have Ottawa's not a team I watch very often, so I'm trying to remember their players, but I know they have a lot of them. Anyway, Thomas Chabot on the blue line. Travis Hamonic, which I guess he can be that veteran presence on the blue line. They re-signed Brent Brandstrom today for $900 a year for $900K, and this team's only going to get better. Ottawa's building towards what they expected. Eugene Melnyk said it would be about 2022-23 when they start spending money. Pierre Dorian has, I guess, done what what Melnyk said he would do when Ottawa first went into the rebuild. So Melnyk, while he's looked at as one of the worst owners we've had in the recent memory, he does spend money when the time is right. And if this is all because of what Melnyk said, then I'm pretty sure it's all Dorian. But when Melnyk said, and at least he's giving proper respects. Excuse me, stuck in my throat there. Now at number 3 in the division, I had a tough time deciding between two teams because I know my number 1, but my number 3 in the division, I decided to go with the Florida Panthers. Losing Jonathan Huberdeau in exchange for Matthew Tkachuk is kind of I could have sold that as a one-on-one deal. Huberdeau 115 points, Matthew Tkachuk at 104. Matthew Tkachuk is more of a grindy style player, and not to mention Florida also loses their second. I'll be back in a moment. Sorry about that. Something stuck in my throat there. So yeah, Florida loses their second best defenseman in Weegar. So that's going to affect their blue line. So that's going to take them down a bit from their President's Trophy caliber season. Maybe they'll follow in Tampa's footsteps after a remarkable regular season who died in the playoffs. Florida won a round for their first round since '96 last year. They're going to be looking for bigger and better things this year. And why not take a page out of Tampa's book as it worked for them, dropping down the regular season to get better in the playoffs. So yeah, and I think losing Huberdeau loses that more regular season offensive push that kind of propelled them to their really good goals for. Now at number 2, we have the Tampa Bay Lightning, which means at number 1, the Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll talk about Tampa first. I'll go through my X's and Y, Z, whatever in a minute. I already showed you my P in Edmonton and the President's Trophy winner, so we'll have Z's, Y's, X's, whatever. So yeah, Tampa locks up Sergachev, Cirelli, and Cernak. A lot of C sounds, but or Cernak, I don't know. But they lock them up for 8 years each, and they have to get rid of some guys. Brandon Hagel is going to be looking to take that next step into a top 6 position, as they probably either move Kaloran this offseason or they wait till next season. I think he's a UFA next season. So I think Hagel's going to step into that spot up there. Ross Colton's still young in the lineup. This team's got great depth still. Vasilevsky and Brian Elliott in net, no problem there. Stamkos off a 100-point season. Kucherov hopefully healthy for first time in forever. And you have guys like they lose Palat on the top six, so that's probably going to be a spot where Hagel can step in as I think Palat was a left winger. I don't think he played. Yeah, he was a left shot, so left winger. But yeah, in Toronto, you're probably thinking how are you going to pick Toronto to win the division? Or even I'm going to be even more bold. You have Ottawa making the playoffs, Florida, Tampa, Toronto winning the Eastern Conference, and that's my Eastern Conference champion right there in the regular season, the Toronto Maple Leafs. And so I think 4 teams in the Atlantic, 4 teams in the Metropolitan. So there you go. So Toronto, Matt Murray and Ilya Samsonov. Toronto's a team that needed some sacrifices, and Jack Campbell and Peter Mrazek were sacrificed. Mrazek purposely and Campbell unwillingly. But Campbell goes to Edmonton, Mrazek they trade to Chicago, and now they bring in 2 guys who've been off of multiple down years in Matt Murray, Ilya Samsonov. I assume a 1A, 1B situation. And we'll see how this tandem plays out, that's for sure. Matthews is getting nearer and nearer to his next contract. Marner, Tavares, Nylander as well. And Tavares wasn't the player he was, so the time of strike is kind of getting closer. Every year there's going to be mounting pressure until if Matthews isn't re-signed, then I think they're still a playoff team without Matthews, but that's a big chunk of their goal scoring. They would drop down pretty far in the standings, and if they lost Matthews, they kind of would just go straight to this kind of side of the thing. But so Toronto, big year ahead of them, a year to prove something, and if the goaltending blows up in their face, it might cause a Dubas' job. It might. But their blue line should be fine. They still don't have Sandin signed, so that's worrying. But hopefully that gets done soon. But that's really all I have for you guys in this one. That's who I find my Atlantic Division predictions. Buffalo 8, Montreal 7, Boston 6, Detroit 5, 4, Ottawa 3, Florida 2, Tampa 1, Toronto. Tell me down below who you think is going to finish where. I want to thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And once again, tell me down below, what do you think of my predictions? What are your predictions? And what do you think I got wrong and right, and etc., etc. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next one. Goodbye.